the suspended public protector, has lost her court application to get back into office. The Western Cape High Court dismissed Advocate Busisiwe Mkhwebane's bid to appeal the court's refusal to enforce her suspension being declared invalid by the same court. Now, she is unable to return to office pending confirmation by the Constitutional Court. Now, the Democratic Alliance and President Cyril Ramaphosa appealed the High Court's decision, which stalled Mkhwebane's return to office. Now, Mkhwebane then went back to the same court last month, requesting to take the matter to the Supreme Court of Appeal, but it found it would be a waste of the SCA's time and court processes. The Apex Court, that's the Constitutional Court, is due to hear the argument on the 24th of November. All right, let's get some perspective now, and we speak to Nthabiseng Dubazana, who's the director at Dubazana Attorneys. Nthabiseng, good morning to you, and thank you very much for your time. The summation of the High Court ruling in the Western Cape, is it fair to say that this was a waste of the court's time, and therefore, here you are, go and pay. This is the personal cost order.
Yeah. You know what? Looking at the fact that the ruling one was made in her favor, it's just that the only condition that stood out was that the Constitutional Court needs to just confirm what the High Court had already said in the first place. And now there's also a date that is set down to ventilate all of these things applying to the SCA, which unfortunately is not the Apex Court. They probably would have also said the same thing, that, you know what, we see that you're saying that you want to go back into the office, but now look at the fact that what the Court quo has said. They're saying that let the court that is higher than us confirm the constitutionality of this decision, and what are we going to do? Let us just wait and hear if the court is going to be in agreement with the court of quo. So in that sense, it was a waste of time to just go through this entire process, and a waste of, unfortunately, a lot of money.
Nthabiseng, without being stuck in the legal jargon, I wonder if you are able to explain to the viewers what your considered view is of Advocate Mkhwebane's impatience.
Look, I mean, when we look at the history of what happened, especially pertaining to her suspension, we are seeing that she made an announcement that she's going to investigate the president, and there was an outcome that was yet to be given by a high court about the very same suspension of Mkhwebane at the time. And then immediately after the announcement, there's a suspension. So when we look at that, and then what followed, which is now the court cases that we're currently discussing, I believe from where we are standing, that is where her impatience comes from. Because why have you fired me when there was no legal grounds, and the court has confirmed now there were no legal grounds for you to do so? So I want to find out what it is that you were trying to hide from me when I was sitting in that chair, so that I can find it out and expose it. That is where I'm assuming it will be coming from. That's why the impatience and everything that has transpired by the current acting chair, the things that they have done to change her decisions that she had made prior to leaving her, or rather being suspended, to try and get the wheels back in motion to where the trajectory that she had foreseen going forward.
Some time ago, Ms. Dubazana, I think it was the Constitutional Court that itself had slapped the public protector with a personal cost order, but at the same time, I think it was one of the justices there, if memory serves me well, I think it was Justice Mbuyiseli Madlanga, who then came back to say, look, this is likely to send a chilling effect to the next person who might hold that office. So the whole issue around a personal cost order is something that perhaps should be frowned upon. I'm simply saying to you that it's not the first time that the court has said, frankly, we're tired of your approach to the courts, because perhaps this is an abuse of court processes. Is this likely to send the message this time around to the suspended public protector?
Well, looking at the history of what has happened in terms of court cases, I don't think so. I think as long as she believes that she has a strong case, she will continue to fight for her case and make sure that her voice is heard, whether it be in her personal capacity, seeing as she's currently suspended, or under the umbrella of the Office of the Public Protector. And still, if the courts believe that it was a frivolous lawsuit, then they will slap her again with personal costs in the matter. Because remember, as the Office of the Public Protector, when she does go to court, then the office pays those amounts. I think right now we are spending around 17 million or something of the sort pertaining to just legal costs. So as a result, the office, that money could be used to assist the public instead of dealing with her protected legal battle.
Is the Public Protector, Advocate Busisiwe Mkhwebane, fast running out of options? I mean, there is the ongoing Section 194, which is probing her fitness to hold office in Parliament. On the other hand, legal processes or legal wrangles around her don't seem to be favoring her, even though we have to be fair and say it was the Western Cape High Court which said that President Ramaphosa was wrong in suspending her just before, I suppose, she could look into the matter of Phala Phala. So, in the same breath, should we as members of the public be somewhat understanding and say perhaps the court gave her some glimmer of hope that actually I could have a fighting chance here?
I do believe she has a fighting chance, not based only on the decision of the Western Cape High Court. But if you recall, at the beginning of the inquiry that's currently going on, the Section 194, because it's new to the country at the end of the day, so when the people who are sitting to be jurists, or the panel that are dealing with this thing, they were trying to figure out how best to deal with the situation in terms of her competency to hold office. One of the panelists, I recall, very clearly had said that we can't judge her based on 4 or 5 matters that have gotten media attention and wherein she has lost court bids. We need to look at her entire scope of work, even those that we don't know of, that are not within the public eye, and those that have been highly successful. We can't just base this on only 4 matters. So if we're going to look at her job or her work in its entirety, then she has a fighting chance of being reinstated in terms of the Section 194 inquiry, because we don't know what else she's done. We only know the things that have been made public. And then if we look at what the Western Cape High Court has said, if the Court actually confirms that judgment, then she goes back into office. And also Section 194, if it ends up ruling in her favor, then everything that she has been fighting for will not have been for nothing, and then she would have been vindicated. So there is always some glimmer of hope when it comes to the law. So let's hold fingers for her, Sham. She needs a win.
Nthabiseng Dubazana, let's leave the conversation there. She is with the Dubazana Attorneys, the director there. All right.